It didn't charge overnight, so it's at 39%. It's snowing, and what does that mean? On the spec sheet, this car loses everything against other cars because the specs aren't that great on this car. They use something called travel assist, and they also have a capacitive steering wheel. Hello and welcome to Autospec Roaming, and welcome to the ID.7 Tourer. This is a car I absolutely love for so many reasons. Yes, it's not the most tech forward, it's 400 volt architecture, the software is lagging behind, and there are issues with this car. Major issues, mainly the price, for example. In certain markets it's way too expensive. But I absolutely love this car, and in this video we are going to drive it all the way from Oslo, where we are now. This is the main headquarters of Volkswagen in Norway, and all the way to Bergen. It didn't charge overnight, so it's at 39%, which is interesting, but that doesn't matter to us. That just means more charging and more testing for us, so absolutely no issue whatsoever. I usually actually ask these kind of press fleet managers to give me the car at 0% state of charge so that I can do all the testing that's needed. But this time I got it, even though I'm going on a road trip, which is interesting. So we got it at 39%. We are on Viking Contact 8 Nordic friction winter tires, studless. These will impact the efficiency of the car, so I'm curious to see. We have a small induction motor in the front, and as you know, an induction motor you can turn off, so the car is mainly rear-wheel drive until it needs the all-wheel drive. It's a weak motor in the front, so it isn't as powerful. It's very rear biased, this car, but still the total amount of power available in this car is a little bit on the lower side considering the weight. It's an underpowered car, I would say, at least in my opinion. Of course, here we have the GTX, we have the fastest ID.7 ever made, and it is a Tourer, so the official name is ID.7 Tourer GTX Exclusive, which is the trim level. So it has all the bells and whistles. You can see the beautiful station wagon shape that you can see here. I love how this car looks. Yes, it's a little bit simple in the front, but the rear end and the station wagon shape is just phenomenal. So let's drive this car about 400 or 500 kilometers over a mountain pass and charge it and see how it is to road trip the ID.7 GTX Tourer. It is a little bit on the older side now. It's been out for a few years, but it's still kind of like the flagship electric car from Volkswagen. And in the US, they never got this car. The US never got the ID.7, and I think it's such a shame because the range is pretty good. It's all-wheel drive. It charges okay for a 400 volt car, better than most Teslas. So I'm curious to see how it is to live with this car for a little bit, and I'll make update videos for you. We got the car at 39% state of charge, which is something that I am not complaining about, because usually I get the car at way too high state of charge. But right now I'm going on a road trip, so it's a little bit different. I think the charging actually stopped overnight, so I'm curious to see what happened there. But again, I'm not complaining at all. 39% is a perfect starting state of charge to get to our DC fast charger on the way to Bergen. So that's very nice. I just want to show you how I set up the car. This car has something called DCC, Dynamic Chassis Control, is my guess. That's the acronym for that, might not be. We will turn off speed limit warnings because this is a EU regulated thing, and you do that by just clicking in here. I need to learn this system again, but we have battery optimizing, so if we plugged in now, we got 68 kilowatts. We can optimize to 133 kilowatts. So this is fantastic that it shows this. So if we go into mode, we have comfort here. I think I want to go to individual and look at all the granularity of the chassis here. This is DCC, and this is one of the best options on Volkswagen MEB cars, in my opinion. It feels fantastic, and this is, just to explain it, it is the dampening control of the chassis, so you can have comfort and you can have sporty, and it's actually dynamic. Okay, we are ready to go, and I think I'll just put in the city we're going. So the infotainment is actually a little bit laggy, even though it is the absolute newest one, which is one of my main gripes with this. I don't think it's the end of the world, and it's actually very functional. So let's restart. It adds a charging stop at Ionity, which is okay by me. So which one is this? Ionity Sokna at 22% state of charge. I think that's fine. We will do this route. Oh, it wants to charge to 95%. No thanks. Then I would rather have another charging stop. I don't want one charging stop that's going on for 44 minutes. I want two charging stop of, let's say, 15 minutes instead, because that's the alternative. Let's go to Bergen, and it adds the same kind of charging stop at Sokna. So that kind of sucks, but let's just do this, and then we choose another charging station in between here, because two charging stops is almost in all cases faster than one charging stop when it estimates 44 minutes. And the charging of this car should be okay. So let's just get on our way. Let's drink some coffee and let's have a good time in the ID.7 Tourer. What I do is that I go into B mode, so when you go into drive, it'll stay at D, and once you do it once more, you go into B mode, and you will automatically creep forwards unless you have auto hold enabled, which I want enabled. Important to mention that we actually don't have one pedal driving at all. I also reset the trip meter, of course, so that we can see our efficiency, but that's not the main thing about this video. It's about comfort and testing how it drives, because I already know it's quite efficient. What many people don't think about is the driver assistance system in the Volkswagen MEB cars. They use something called travel assist, and they also have a capacitive steering wheel, so that, for example, if you have used Tesla system or many other automakers as well, they use a torque sensor in the steering wheel. Here you just need to touch the steering wheel very carefully, and it's good enough for the system to detect that you are ready to take over, and of course holding the steering wheel. And the travel assist system is smooth. It works very nicely in traffic. It's not very sophisticated. It can't do advanced maneuvers. It'll disconnect in way too steep, like mountain road turns. But on the highway, like here, it's actually quite confident, quite nice to use. And it's a system that I always use in the different MEB cars. 3 levels of heated steering wheel, that's very German. Some cars only have 1, some cars have 2, like the Teslas, and this one has 3 levels of heated steering wheel. And yeah, I like to have it in the 1 position for long drives, and then in the 3 position for extreme cold, and in the 2 position for like going to the grocery store or whatever. And it will remember, so once you get into the car later, it'll activate the heated steering wheel, which is fantastic. And it's very even. It's an even like heated steering wheel. What's so cool about reviewing cars is that no car is just specs on a paper. So you can see a bunch of cars that have very impressive specifications, and then you sit in the car and everything just feels wrong. The suspension doesn't feel right, the steering input doesn't feel right, the driver assistance is terrible. The real world charging curves are different because it doesn't have the good like algorithms to optimize the charging performance. So there is so much that goes into a car. You can't just look at the specs on the paper. Oh, this car has 400 kilowatt charging. Well, when does it have 400 kilowatt charging? Oh, it has dual chamber extreme air suspension, but it's not compliant and not well tuned. Then it doesn't really matter that much, at least to me. So for me, I need to drive the cars and actually test them on the pavement and see how they drive. And that's one thing about the ID.7 Tourer, is that it doesn't promise too much. I think the advertised charging speed is like 200 kilowatts, but it's pretty flat. And yeah, it's just an impressive package that doesn't like promise too much. But I do agree, the technology of this car is way behind. It's way behind other cars, and Volkswagen should have put like a much better charging battery in this car. They should have put Rivian software in this car, which I believe they will do in a few years in this car. 1 to 2 years, I think they will actually do. They actually updated the firmware to a new one, which has Android Automotive built in or on a layer on top of the MEB stuff. And I'm very curious to see this kind of Android automotive stuff that's built into the MEB stuff. Can they do it in a nice way? I don't know, we will see. But what they have figured out is European roads, European driver assistance stuff, and what Europeans like in a car. They want a predictable, nice charging curve, which this car has. They want a good route planner, which this car allegedly has, but we discovered some issues with the route planner this time. But in general, it has been fantastic to me, the route planner. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt, and let's try to do some more route planning testing towards the end of this video. On the spec sheet, this car loses everything against other cars because the specs aren't that great on this car. But I'm going to tell you why this is a great car regardless of the spec sheet. The spec sheet is one thing, but as a car reviewer, we need to drive the car. For example, the charging performance. So it's advertised at around 200 kilowatts, I believe. Many cars today are able to charge at 400 kilowatts, and those are better. Those beat this car on charging. Shorter charging stops, this one needs longer charging stops. But the charging performance isn't as bad as people think. People look at Teslas, which are advertised in Europe at 250 kilowatt, but you only get 250 kilowatt at the bottom of the pack, at 1% or whatever. Here it is a flatter charging curve, so average energy added on a 10-minute charging stop is more in this car. And then we come to the performance of the car. It's advertised at 340 horsepower, 250 kilowatts, I believe, of power. And that's pretty low. There are multiple new electric cars that come today that have like 5, 6, 7, 800 horsepower or more. And the 0 to 60 times aren't that great in this car. But the car feels great to drive. It's more than powerful enough for most people. So yeah, I think it's important to just drive the cars and kind of experience the cars. And that's what we are doing today. We are experiencing the ID.7 Tourer. The software is lagging behind many other cars, but the route planner seems pretty good. And to be honest, I don't have anything against this software. I think it's fine. It's okay. Then it comes to the driver assistance. That's impossible to get on a spec sheet. You can say, oh, this car has lane holding. But what does that mean, that the car has lane holding? Because some lane holding is good, some is very ping-pongy, which means that you go between the lanes, and it's not really that good. So we have to test the car. That's why we test the cars. And the driver assistance system of this car is fantastic. Then we have the space in the car. On the spec sheet, the Model Y has way more space, but I truly believe this car has more usable space than a Model Y, because it has a better shape in the rear for the hatch, and the way the Germans measure the volume of cargo capacity is very different than what Tesla does. I believe this one has more space. And efficiency of this car is pretty good. Of course, it's not as efficient as a Tesla. That's very difficult to achieve. But the battery pack size is larger than a Model Y. And in general, I think you can get about the same kind of range and at least the same, if not better, charging performance. But that doesn't come through on the spec sheet. And I'm not against Tesla here. I mean, I'm a Tesla fanboy. You all know that I own a Tesla, and I believe that the Model Y is one of the best car purchases you can make. But this one is fantastic. And I kind of want to showcase what this car is good at and not good at. Because there are things that this car is bad at. Where is dog mode, for example, Volkswagen? I couldn't really own this car as my only car because where is dog mode? It's very important to me, right? So there are issues. It's not perfect, but yeah, it's better than the spec sheet would suggest, and I think that's why it's important to make a video about it. So I just realized that the route planner was set to a very high state of charge arrival at the charger, so I went into the route planner settings and set it to the lowest possible arrival, because that's what we like with an MEB car. With a MEB car, you want to get as An MEB car? Yeah, it's an MEB car because you say M, not M, right? So it's an MEB car. Leave a comment down below if it's a or an MEB car, but I believe it's an MEB car. And we are doing another charger. We are doing a Tesla Supercharger at 10% arrival, which is better than 22% arrival. We don't want to get our charger with 22%. That's way too much. So 10% is more like it. And I'll see if I can record a charging session there. So we will arrive with, depending on how quick we drive, maybe 8-9%. I don't know. We will see. And we will do a charging session on the 250 kilowatt Tesla version 3.5 Supercharger at Flå, because it has a great local nearby restaurant that I want to check out and eat at. So let's do that. Let's go there, and I'll keep you updated. At 20%, the car notifies the driver that we have no range left. Alert, alert. I think this just causes anxiety, in my opinion. It should be at 10% or something. Maybe it's adjustable, actually. I'm not entirely sure. But 20% is still plenty of range in this car. Our average efficiency is 18.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer, which is a pretty good efficiency, I would say. Surprisingly good efficiency. Heated, ventilated, and massaging seats in the ID.7 exclusive trim, which is fantastic. You can set it to 30 minutes, so that's nice. And it's both on the driver's seat and the passenger seat. In front of us right now we have an ID bus and a Volkswagen ID.7, the normal variant. So we are kind of like an MEB lineup right here. And the ID bus is also one of my favorite cars. It drives amazingly well for a van. It's quick for a van, and it charges just like the ID.7 with a large battery, of course. To get the optimized charging curve and make sure that we do, I'll go in here, and it says that the function is enabled to optimize the charging speed, but I'm not sure if this Tesla Supercharger is a charger in the system. It doesn't look like it. So just to make sure, we are this time... Oh, it started automatically. Perfect. I didn't do anything. Well, then it worked. It recognizes the Tesla Supercharger as a charger and starts the battery optimizing about 19 minutes before arriving, so that we can get a good charging speed. That's great. The car gives me a warning in the heads-up display and says that, oh, it's 10% left. Alert, danger, danger, 10% left. For me, 10% is plenty. And I have locked the travel assist to the outside of the road, so the right lane marking, so that it tries to keep the car on the outside, so when cars come by, they are not too close, which I do enjoy about the system, the ability to put your car on this kind of right lane marking, which is great. So we have a few minutes left until we are at the Tesla Supercharger. We are at 10%. We will probably arrive at the charger with 9%. I sent the car in the curves here just to test out the fun driving experience of this car, because it's quite fun to drive actually. So that's why we used a little bit more than estimated, but no worries, it's perfect. Perfect arrival at this charger at, let's say 9%. Let's check once we're there. It states 2 minutes needed for optimal charging speed, so we are here right now, so we might reach optimal, or maybe not, but we are so close to optimal. We are 190 kilowatts estimated charging on this car, which is great. Considering the efficiency of this car, 190 kilowatts is okay, I would say. Of course, not class leading. Actually, it's not class leading at all. It's one of the worst kind of peak charging speeds, but the curve is okay, and the efficiency is okay, and the total road trip speed of this car shouldn't be too bad, actually. So, yeah, let's go over to the Tesla Superchargers over here. We have to park. Yeah, these are version 4 stalls, so we can park however we like, which is nice about longer cables and stuff. So let's get plugged in. Charging has started. I just activated it in the app. And we can see the price is 5.9 kroners per kilowatt hour, so quite expensive, I would say, for a Tesla Supercharger. Since I want to record a charging session without any climate, I should just leave the car. Let's take a look at the charging curve. This car has the biggest battery that's available on the MEB platform as of filming this video, and that's 91 kWh gross capacity and 86 kWh usable. It peaked at 201 kilowatts, but it holds it pretty flat. The charging for this car is pretty great considering that this is a 400 volt architecture. And in 25 minutes we added 62.5 kWh and went from 9 to 79%. We're back at the car and we are already at 79%, so just a quick meal and we are already at 79%. That's fantastic. And this car can take 93 kilowatts at 80%, which is absolutely phenomenal. Let's see if we need any more charging stops to get home. We might do so just to have some available, of course, but we can press start and it says 16% on arrival in where we're going, Bergen basically. And this is absolutely fantastic because this was a 25-minute charging stop. It's snowing, and what does that mean? Well, that means that the mountain pass is not closed. It's a convoy, which basically means that in the front of the queue you have a snow plower, which removes the snow, and then you have a bunch of people coming after. In the next episode, we will cross the mountain pass and look forward to some cool charging curves and nerd data on the ID.7 GTX Tourer.